Good morning, Zio here, and it is Sunday, January 19th, 2020, and this is the first gaming roundup we've had of the year. It's been a few weeks since we've actually had one with the holidays and everything else, and, you know what, let's just get into it, shall we? But seriously, I have been, I guess, away, sort of on a small hiatus. I haven't been making many videos lately. You know, with the holidays and everything, and work ramping up the way it has been, I have been tired. I guess is the best way to put it. Needed to take a little time, needed to rest and sleep it all off. Still tired, of course, because welcome to adulthood. That's what happens. You suddenly wish you took those naps when you were much younger, in kindergarten or whatever age it was you took naps. But yeah, here we are again. It's a new year, new stuff, things are happening, and this is our Sunday gaming roundup where we just sort of go over the stories, or lightly go over the stories that we talked about previously throughout the week, although we are going to have a few more than just the previous week, considering I think I only did like 2 or 3 all week. So you know, because we're just coming back from this thing, but we did some other stuff in between. So we'll briefly talk about that, as well as, you know, touch on a few other things that I honestly can't sit here and make its own video because it's a thing. I don't have a whole lot to say on it, but, you know, it's worth mentioning at some point in time. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and just pop on over here. And earlier, I think like around the 6th or something like that, we talked about WWE2K20 being broken in every possible way because the Y2K bug finally smacked it head on. And my gosh, these games they have degraded in quality, if you ask me. Oh gosh, I'd rather play that wrestling game on 64 or PS2 again. Anyway, but yeah, there was an issue at the turn of the year. The game broke. TLDR version. It just suddenly destroyed, just would not work. And the fix for it was to run the internal clock on your system back a day so you can keep playing, because the game itself wasn't messed up, but apparently there was some kind of code anywhere causing it to just stop functioning at the turn of the year. So, you know, 2K20 definitely broke, although they did get a fix for it. So, you know, links of course are in the description if you want to know more. Click on one of those, you can watch the video and tell me what you think. Then this, oh my gosh, this right here, I don't know what to think about it, seriously. Like, this is not the worst review ever, but it's a good laugh. So we've got Monster Hunter. If you've never played the Monster Hunter games, Monster Hunter World is probably the one to get into. It is the most user-friendly, it is the most accessible version of the Monster Hunter games by far, in my opinion. I've tried getting into the Monster Hunter franchise. I really wanted to, really tried when it was on handhelds and stuff, but even the Wii version, I got that. Monster Hunter Tri. Ugh. Anyway, and I couldn't get into them. It takes a lot of work. You've got to do a lot of learning and stuff, and you know, the controls are really bad in my opinion, but it's a way better experience when you're using something like this. When you've got dual analog sticks, it makes a world of difference for those games, which is why I feel it's way more accessible than it has been ever before in its lifetime, except for maybe the really older ones, because I think they are, like, there was one for PS2 or something, I'm not sure. So it probably used analog sticks too. But, you know, it's a fun game, and in the game, you hunt monsters. It's in the title, Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter. How hard is that? Anyway, we got a review bashing the game because you hunt monsters. Ooh, surprise, surprise. You know, there was also some launch issues with the game on the PC side recently. Trust me, I saw it. Although I still don't own Iceborne. I want to own it so bad. I just ain't got the money to pay for it, nor do I have the room on my hard drive to even install it. Oh wait, actually I think it is pretty much installed. It was the update. So I'm sure there's not much needed, and I had to clear off room to update it, of course. So yeah. I lost several games. Fallout 4, that other game, some other game I don't really play, Skyrim. Anyway, eventually I'll get an external and I'll reinstall things back to that, but I'm in desperate need of hard drive space so bad. Help me. Anyway, so it's a review bashing the game because you're hunting monsters, and it's pretty disingenuous because it completely glosses over the fact that the game actually, it may not go out of its way to tell you that you can capture. There is a mission that you do have to do that says, hey, we're going to capture this instead of kill it. And from that point on, you can capture monsters for the most part, except for elder dragons, of course. And, you know, this review doesn't say anything about that. It doesn't say that the game actually rewards you more for capturing monsters, not just for killing them, but this bashes it in so many different ways about killing the monsters and how the game is horrible and how the story, it doesn't make sense. And, you know, a classic case of somebody who claims they've put in all this time, but in reality they really haven't. Either that or they haven't paid attention. They're one of those people who just want to skip everything and make it to the end so they can say they finished it without actually understanding what's going on in the game. So we touched on that. We talked about it at length about, you know, the things that they're purposely leaving out, the actual story to the game. So there's a little bit of spoilage in there, you know, on why you're doing that and how this article is just flat out wrong. It lies to you. Yeah. But from there, we talked about Final Fantasy VII's remake and Marvel Heroes, the Marvel the Marvel game, Marvel Avengers game that's coming out, being pushed back about a month or so, and to 4 months. And how that's going to deal, because you know, at the same time you've got CyberPunk 2077 coming out and other stuff, and they want to push it back to polish it up, bring it a better thing. So, you know, you can go check out that video, of course, how we talked about that pretty much at length. Beyond that, of course, we then talked about Pokemon, right? We had the Pokemon digital or expansion pass, you know, essentially an expansion to the Pokemon games and how that affects things, you know, my thoughts on that and stuff, because, you know, expansions are for the game is probably going to be the way to go now, instead of making a complete third game. And then yesterday, of course, we talked about Dexit itself more in length, you know, my thoughts on it, how it could have been prevented a little bit, how they should have probably went about it, what I wish they would go and do right now anyway with the competitive scene and other things, because I feel it all plays a good part together. Removing Pokemon who just don't make the cut, and, you know, rebalancing those who do, so we can have something a more diverse competitive scene out there, because it seems year after year it's always the same lineup in the top 10, you know, players at competitions and things. And it would be nice to see other things, you know, it'd be really nice to see people actually use their favorites, as, you know, the game is supposed to, how they intend you to play the game is to play with your favorites and beat it with your favorites. But it'd be nice to take your favorites to competition, providing, you know, they would have stats comparable to all the other Pokemon, so it can actually be worthwhile to take them. I think that would be pretty cool. And me pleading for evolutions. We need more. Game Freak, more evolutions for the Eevee, please. Eevee needs them. Anyway, so I did mention that Cyberpunk 2077 was coming out about 7 days after Final Fantasy Remake is now going to be coming out, and this, of course, then came out later that day, right? did the video, had it upload, and then boom, I saw this on my Twitter timeline. We have important news regarding CyberPunk 2077 release date we'd like to share with you today. CyberPunk 2077 won't make the April release window, and we're moving the launch date to September 17th, 2020. We are currently at the stage where the game is complete and playable, but there's still work to be done. Night City is massive, full of stories, content, and places to visit, but due to our sheer scale of complexity of it all, we need more time to finish the game, the finished playtesting, fixing, and polishing. We want Cyberpunk 2077 to be our crowning achievement for this generation, and postponing launch will give us precious months we need to make the game perfect. Expect more regular updates on progress as we get closer to the new release date. We're looking forward to seeing you in Night City. Thank you for your ongoing support. And that is great. I'm so happy that is actually happening, because now we're not going to have it back to back with Final Fantasy Remake. And maybe they are polishing, maybe they saw that Square had to push back and they're like, you know what, maybe we should push ours back a bit. This way we're not competing on the market at that particular time. It gives people a month or so, several paychecks to try and get back into where they can go ahead and get Cyberpunk 2077 as well. Maybe it's a combination of both, who knows. But yeah, that's a nice thing to see. At least my wallet, which was currently screaming because Final Fantasy VII Remake is a thing I have to buy. I'm sorry, it's just going to be one of those things that, look, if I forgot to eat for the next 3 days versus buy this game, I'm going to buy this game and forsake eating for 3 days. Yeah, it's been something I've been waiting on for a very long time, so, so this happened like hours after I pretty much said this is kind of worrisome, because now they're back to back. Anyway, on to E3 news real quick. So we're going to wrap this video up talking about a little bit about E3. E3 seems to be getting less and less relevant over the time. And it seems that Sony will be skipping E3 again. I don't know what else to say. I mean, E3 used to be an amazing thing. I mean, it's still fun to watch and things. Don't get me wrong. It's still great to go to. To watch and things, but it's getting less and less crowded. The companies are having more and more things on their own now, which are pulling in the same number of people, if not more, to their own venues and their own, thing that's showing off just their stuff. So, it's inevitable. Eventually, E3 will lose when it comes to everything else. When they start doing their own things, Nintendo, Xbox, or Microsoft, Sony, and everybody else starts leaving and doing their own things, or they start doing things with the other stuff, promoting their games at the Sony thing or at the Xbox thing and all that. It's just going to be an inevitable thing. We may see, 5 years down the road, the E3 no longer exists. It's sad, but, it will be replaced with whatever else is going on, Sony's thing and all the other companies. When they start doing their own things, it will eventually be replaced slowly but surely with their own stuff. And that's just something that's going to happen. The more the company gets, the more, the larger it gets, the more of a market share it gets, the more it's going to want to go off and do its own thing and not pay somebody else for, an hour or two or a booth or whatever. It's just going to be doing its own thing, just like BlizzCon is its own thing. They went and they did their thing years ago. So, other companies following suit. It's just going to happen. Anyway, that's going to be it for me today. It is Sunday. I hope you all have a great, fantastic day. Of course, if you haven't liked the video, if you made it this far, leave me something down in the comments below to let me know that you showed up and watched it all. Because, that would be kind of cool. Yeah, please. Anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that. I will talk to y'all later. See ya.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, smash that like button, and always subscribe for more. And, of course, there are other videos floating around somewhere on the screen, so click one of those and see if you can find something that suit your fancy. Till then, I'll see you later. Bye.